Netizens were up in arms after banks implemented new rates, thinking their savings were being taxed under a new law. But the Finance Department is now clearing the air on what the Capital Markets Efficiency Promotion Act, or CIMEPA, really does. Signed in May and in effect this July, CIMEPA introduces tax reforms to boost investments, including slashing the stock transaction tax from 0.6 to 0.1%. But the buzz online came from a uniform 20% tax on interest income. The Finance Department has since issued a clarification saying the tax is not on actual savings but on the interest it earns. It also emphasized this is not a new tax but an existing one that has now been standardized under CIMEPA.
The law standardizes the tax rate on deposit interest to a flat 20% regardless of account type or holding period. Before CIMEPA, only short-term deposits were taxed at that rate, and long-term time deposits and foreign currency accounts used to be taxed less or not at all. Now, those exemptions are gone. The Finance Department said this corrects a system that favored high-income individuals who could afford to hold long-term deposits. RCBC Chief Economist Mike Ricafort says small savers would not feel much difference, but those with large time deposits or dollar accounts could take a hit. He advises looking into investment options or tax-free accounts like Pera or personal equity and retirement account to offset the impact.
And to further explain this, we have with us Michael Ricafort, Chief Economist with RCBC. All right. Good evening. Welcome to The Big Story. Can you hear us?
Hi, good evening, Cez, Pauline, and your viewers. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, how can we calm down savers? What can we tell them that so that they can be assured that their savings are not at risk?
Yes, yes, because this is something that has been existing for many, many years and decades, a 20% withholding tax on interest income earned on deposits. So this has been there, no change under the CIMEPA law for peso denominated deposits. The only change is just on the tax exemption for time deposits that are longer, for instance, longer than 5 years. Those are tax exempt. So now they're now covered 20% withhold, and it usually cater to wealthier and more affluent people and customers.
Actually,
and
that's not what
the other change.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and the change may be on dollar deposits, the FCDU deposits, because the withholding tax before July 1, because that was the effectivity date, July 1, prior to that it was 15% withholding tax on interest income on dollar deposits and other foreign currency deposits. Now, it's already the same as peso at 20%, and non-resident foreigners are still they would still enjoy the 15%. It's just the resident depositors for dollar deposits and other foreign currency deposits under the so-called FCDU deposits. So those are the changes, and it's really meant to help attract and at least maintain the large foreign FCDU deposits here in the Philippines relative to the other countries. But over the years, that has been increased also for FCDU deposits. Like, for instance, in the late 1990s, it was increased from 7.5% to 10%, and then it was raised again to 15%. Now, it's from 15%, it would be raised to 20%. It's already the same as the withholding tax for peso deposits. So it's really meant, the law is really meant to simplify
the structure. Yes, but
for bank deposits for passive income So that's right.
But you know,
So it's not well, but if you are to look, yeah, go ahead, Mrs.
yes, but it's not just the wealthy people who are hit, but I guess retirees, not even average
Earners.
earners. Yes. So how much is the government really supposed to raise from this measure?
Well, supposedly the estimate is around $25 billion by until 2030. That's the estimated additional revenue collections. But it's primarily targeted to the wealthier individuals. The depositors may also, for instance, or for FCDU deposits, yeah, there's that increase from 15% tax. Now it's 20%. So that would be an additional 5% uh, 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 tax on the interest that they other deposits and other foreign currency deposits for resident depositors, those here in the Philippines. So yeah, but then again, normally these are targeted to the higher income classes, the more affluent ones, and maybe some of those in the middle class. And well, essentially, well, the essence really is to simplify everything. Even for but for instance, for other for well those that with previous exemptions. They may still continue. For instance, the so-called for the 5 year for longer than 5 year time deposits, they're exempt from the 20% withholding tax. Those existing instruments are, well, the application of the law is prospective. It would only cover the new deposits. But the existing ones, they would still continue to enjoy, given the prospective nature of the SIMEPA law.
But Michael, what's the incentive now for people to invest in long-term time
Yeah.
deposits, right? Because
And
you removed the 20, you now have 20% on your time deposits, and it seems like you're penalizing
Yeah.
long-term financial planning.
So how is it supposed to entice investors, actually?
Yeah, well, actually, that's also a consideration because, yeah, in the past, that is really meant to further, well, encourage long-term savings. However, if you look at the whole thing, yes, that's one for, well, but there are other aspects of the SIMEPA law also that would also encourage in turn other forms of investment like in the stock market. Stock transaction tax has been reduced from zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.1. That's a savings outright of 0.5%. And this is based on the nominal amount, the actual transaction amount. And also for new shares, it says new issuances, there's a documentary stamp tax of 1%. So it's now reduced to 0.75. So there's a savings of 0.25. And on top, for new issuances, say new share sales, IPOs, follow-on offerings, etc. So new issuances, that would be a total savings of zero point 0.5 for the stock transaction tax and another 0.25 for the documentary stamp tax. That's 0.75. The essence of the law there is to entice, especially large funds, to put more money into the country on the hope that it would increase liquidity and trading activities here in the country, especially
The
foreign funds,
reduction-
narrowing the differential or the gap with other ASEAN and Asian markets and other countries around the world. So that's an outright savings of 0.75 from the point of view,
But the
say, for
reduction
foreign
is
investors.
smaller than the increase. The reduction in stock transaction tax is smaller than the increase in tax for long-term savings.
Well,
So are we saying
Well,
that the
actually-
government wants the public to, I guess, put money more in the stock market, in the capital markets, rather than the long-term savings?
Well,
that are
it's
safer,
really
I
actually
guess?
there are other. Well, there are other. Well, they're different. One is an investment product based on market forces, market prices. Of course, they do vary. Sometimes there's some market risk, of course, involved, uh, but also on the balance, there's also prospect of higher returns, higher risk, higher return. Whereas for deposits, it's more guaranteed.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
if it's guaranteed, it's kind of safe.
Yeah.
So it's one way to also diversify and there are other options. For instance, like the Pera law. There are also some tax breaks there. That's an entirely different thing, no. But that has been there for quite some time already, for a number of years, and the take up is not yet that huge. And this is like similar to the 401k in the US that encourages savings for retirement, and there goes the tax exemptions there, some tax breaks there, to encourage also it's part of financial literacy actually, to
Yes,
diversify,
that is needed
people to
though
save.
in a country where our population is, the savings rate is very low. Our people need more education in financial literacy, and then we have this regulation that somehow lessens the desire to put your money in a long-term safe savings account.
Well, yeah, it's really, so to speak, it's really putting it's really the wealthier, the higher income brackets, the wealthier Filipinos, wealthier citizens, those who can afford to pay higher, while these simplifying the passive income, the so-called passive, the tax, the withholding tax for this passive income, to simplify it to just 20%. Because, the principles here, there's a need to also level the playing field. It should be fair, say, for both local and foreign investors, big and small investors alike. They should be taxed the same at 20% for as a matter of equity, principles of fairness. It's it's really an entirely different principle itself, while also simplifying it, and at the same time, because the claim here also, one of the premises is that the exemptions in the past may unduly favor the wealthier asset class. Because the taxation should be progressive in nature, meaning those who can afford it should be, there should be some fairness when it comes to taxation based on what they can afford to pay. It's an irony of sorts, actually, if you come to think of it, because
But at the same
who are being subsidized? The wealthier asset classes, right? I know that it's understandable to develop long-term savings. There must be some form of incentive, but maybe at some point, this has been under review, this bill.
Okay.
Even prior to the pandemic, there have been consultations with the banking community, with the investment community. So this has been thought of for a very long time, to simplify taxation, to make it easier to implement, to level the playing field, and also to align with global best practices based on those principles. But true enough, in the past, there may be some forms of incentives, but those incentives are really tilted for the wealthier Filipinos, for the rich, rather than to the masses. So, it's really a delicate balancing act, so to speak, because, it's an existing subsidy that's tilted in favor of the wealthier the wealthier Filipinos rather than the masses. So it's a matter of principle, actually. And at the same time, it would indirectly also benefit make it more efficient, making more equitable the taxation system. Because
because
it's
Michael,
a
there are
delicate.
also a lot of Filipinos who invest in these long-term time deposits, and that's their income. They earn from that, right? Their goal in life is to, let's say, save 8 digits worth of savings and then earn from that interest. So right now, what would you advise Filipinos to do? Is it also diversifying into MP2 funds, which I believe is still tax-free?
Yeah, true. Actually, those are the other. There are alternatives. Yes, you going through other investment outlets. Yeah, and that the MP2, the Pera, those under the Pera, that they have all the essence and principles of
All
encouraging
right. So you
long-term
would advise
savings
that. You
for
would
building
advise that.
retirement funds.
You would advise
Yeah.
that.
So yeah. Yeah. So
Kasi
it's really a matter of
tinatamaan din ng middle class whether you like it or not, 'di ba? We want an emerging middle class. They're not exactly that wealthy, but they're savvy maybe in investing their money or putting aside money for their retirement, and tinatamaan sila dito.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's really, this whole initiatives to also further develop the capital markets. If you look
Okay.
at the whole package, the different aspects, it's really meant, well, bottom line there, yes, to encourage people to save more, to invest more, build their retirement funds, build their wealth funds, financial literacy, make their money work better for them, and at the same time, something that's in an environment that's more conducive. Actually, yeah, especially those in the equities market, we have seen it to further boost the activities there, further boost the market, and hopefully it would all attract more both foreign and local funds and bring more activities and it's making more the deployment of capital into more productive uses and everything is a win-win. The investors would earn more because investment is an entirely different thing. Investment it's based on market forces, no? And
All
the
right.
other one
Well,
on the other side, the depositors with more guaranteed income.
we thank you for your time. You're doing a great job of being defending this for the government. We thank you so much, Michael Ricafort, Chief Economist with RCBC.